Hey and welcome everyone, it's Egwin from Beyond Systems. Today I'm going to share with you an exercise that really helps to open up the iliosacral joint, the conjunction between your lumbar region and your pelvic ring and your whole spinal and rear hip area. Alright, now the exercise is quite simple. It looks like that. Alright, now what am I doing? It looks kind of strange. I agree. Let me show this exercise from a different perspective. Now, I've got a little bit of uneven ground here, don't mind that. So my right foot is lower than the left. That doesn't really matter. Alright, now take a look at what's happening here. The inside edges of my feet are parallel towards each other. The toes pointing directly to the camera, so to the front. What's happening is I'm turning my upper body, I'm turning my hip, I'm doing something in my hip joints, and I add my whole shoulder region to that to really work on that fascial and that connective tissue pull in the body. Now, take a look at it. Here is what it looks like from the front, and then I'm gonna explain it. Alright, the strange thing with this exercise is that it doesn't really start in the legs, which is what most people would probably assume is happening here. It's not. This exercise actually starts in my upper body. It starts in the rotation of my arm and my shoulder. So I have an internal rotation of my arm, and at the same time my whole upper body turns a little bit towards the left side. So I'm actually rotating to the left. I'm also internally rotating my right arm, and this is sort of priming the rest of the movement. Here is what I mean by that. Look at my knees. My knees, when you take a look at it from the side, my knees, they are gently bent. They're not stretched backwards. They're not locked. They're not just micro bent. They are definitely bent. Now, my spine is as upright as possible to start with, and very important here, when I move to the left, when I move my upper body to the left leg isn't doing anything. The left leg doesn't move anywhere. You can see it here from this perspective. There is not really any change in the left leg in terms of the knee doesn't pull out to the side, it doesn't fall into the inside or anything like that. I do sink a little bit in the left hip joint, which changes the geometry of my left leg a tiny little bit. So I'm sitting a little bit into my left hip joint, but in no way is there a turning out of the knee or anything like that. So from here again, I have this rotation of my upper body, I have the internal rotation of my arm, which primes the movement. Now look at this. Now already my whole body is gently angling towards the left side. I don't stay completely upright while I do this. I'm angling a little bit towards the left, almost as if I tried to literally align my spine with my right thigh. So I'm turning to the left, I'm internally rotating, and now I rotate my hip even further. Notice it's really a closing of the left hip joint in the front. The right leg now extends. It's very important that the inside edges keep staying parallel towards each other. The outside edge of my right foot down there remains on the ground, and the right knee doesn't drop to the inside. No, the right foot is actually rotating and at the same time internally rotating and stretching. Stretching in terms of it comes out of this bent knee into a straight leg, and I gently rotate to the inside. Obviously, a straight leg isn't exactly designed to have the knee rotated very intensely, which is why we should be careful with this exercise and do not really force it. This is also why this movement doesn't start in your center. This movement actually starts higher up in your thoracic spine, in your shoulder girdle. So once again, I rotate my upper body to the left. I internally rotate my arm, start to angle the body. I close my left hip joint, and now I try to rotate my right hip very gently to the front and to the left. In this position, the limiting factor is obviously the rear leg, which right now, take a look at it, which right now is straightened and internally rotated. And from that, from here, I just simply release in my leg, let this cascade of release run through all my body, and I smoothly come back to center by release of the tension that I built before. So once again, it's rotating the upper body, internally rotating the arm, turning to the left, rotating the right hip joint to the front, my left hip is closed, my right is open, whoop, and release back to the front. Now we reverse the process to the right. The upper body is turning, internal rotation of the left arm, I'm slightly angling the body. Now my left hip rotates to the front, left leg stretches, and I release and come back to center. Now this should give you a really nice opening, especially in this area where your innominate, your sacrum, and the lumbar region join together. It's an amazing exercise to open up this area. Now, we have done a lot in terms of, well, something that feels like an external rotation in your hip, although it technically isn't in terms of the muscular tension, but it is in terms of the fascial tension in this case. So after an exercise like that, I always suggest to do something in the opposite direction, which in this case would mean stand on your right leg, the right foot pointing directly to, like this direction right now, to the front. The left is slightly turned out. Now I move my weight into the right leg, make sure that the knee stays over the toes and is aligned with the toes. And now really try to close the right hip, try to open the right hip a couple of times. Whoop. 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 And then do the same on the other side. So really closing, opening, closing, and opening, closing. The left hip joint, shake it out a little bit, and then just give yourself a couple of either single leg swings directly front back, or inside edges of the feet parallel to each other, and a couple of pelvis to the front and to the rear movements, and then again shake it out and just stand there for a second. Now you should feel quite centered in terms of internal external rotation again. It should be balanced again, but you should also feel a nice opening aspect in the lower back, pelvic ring, lumbar region. In this case, whenever we work with something like that, obviously we work with the connections that run internally. We use the fascial network, we use the connective tissue network to create an effect in the body. And whenever you use an exercise like that, obviously it has quite a systemic effect. Meaning it doesn't just affect the localized area, it has an effect on the whole rest of the body, so it will also loosen up the rest of your back area. It will also help you to align your shoulder girdle a little bit. So there are many different aspects that this actually works on, but the main area being this conjunction here between the lumbar region, your pelvis, the pelvic ring, sacrum, and those departments back there. Alright, if you have questions, leave them in the comment box down below. If you want to support me doing more videos like this, then check out my Patreon page. The link is down below. There I share exclusive content that I share nowhere else, and your contribution can actually help me to dedicate more time to also create more free content like this. Other than that, if you liked the video, please click like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.